That's my job.
Yo, we back live. And we America's Realest Podcast on Live Hip Hop Daily. And I got my boy NoxBond in the building.
Yo, a whole lot of real life and no life. Next level to the dirt. Settle. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Long time coming.
Yeah. For real.
I think I'm familiar with you through Juggernaut, Rap Juggernaut. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so and I
salute the big
salute Kingpin for sure. I know you from Kansas.
Yeah.
And you just came to Atlanta. So like, have you been traveling back and forth or like?
Yeah, it was like the third time that I got here is when it was like I decided to move here, right? And it was, Rap Juggernaut, Kingpin, that's my guy, that's my bro. I've been working with Rap Juggernaut since 2018 strong, like campaigns, you know what I mean? And like he got a whole bunch of people involved. He got DJ Win involved. He got DJ Cube involved. You know. Now I'm linked up with Bigger Rankin, you know what I mean, and me and OG are building like a personal relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
But Rap Juggernaut has been a big bro for a
sure.
hot minute.
For
you know what I mean?
Much love to Kingpin.
So
for sure.
much love to Kingpin.
Hell yeah.
I came down here
my
first time, right? Because I had an artist that had paid $8,000 to meet Boosie.
Okay.
Right. So I went to Texas. And I picked him up. I don't fly because I get like air sick. So I hate flying. So I drive everywhere, right? So I drove to Texas and I picked him up and then I drove him here to Atlanta to meet Boosie. But the dude who had set it up, he didn't have all of his cards together. Boosie wasn't even here that day.
Oh man, he pulled some Atlanta stuff.
So listen, so it was crazy. Guess where Boosie was?
Where?
In Wichita.
Wow.
So had I just stayed in Wichita, then I would have been able to just pull up on him. You know what I mean?
Sure,
and have a conversation.
Sure. Because you're big dog in your city.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But shout out to Wichita, 316 up. You know what I mean? But because of the way it went, it was the artist wanting to spend the money. The artist was wanting to invest the money, and they were like really insistent, like, this is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, shit, all right with you. You know what I mean? I'll pick you up. I'll introduce you to Boosie. I'll run the play. I'll make it happen. So, man, it was crazy. The promoter ended up being janky. Nobody knows on the other end that I know Boosie's big homie. Shout out GC Munger. So Boosie had just got given $20 million from GC, right? So I hit up GC and kind of told him what happened. GC got us the money back.
That's all.
And was like, you know what I'm saying? Just standing on the strength of the relationship was like, all right, that's not how that's gonna go down. You know what I mean? It made everything 100%. But
shout out to GC.
Shout out to GC.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That's big bro. And he basically said it would work better for me if I did it organically anyway. If I met Boosie in a situation where I was already there and he could see who I was, as opposed to paying him to meet him and just sliding up like an artist and being like, you know what I mean? This is a business transaction type thing.
Yeah.
And, I toured with Webbie. Webbie's my bro. So Webbie and his brother Derek, are really closely affiliated tightly with everything we do with Next Level. Shout out Super Unit, shout out Savage Life, shout out Trey Savage. You know what I mean? So it's all family. Anyway. So it's imminent that I'm gonna meet the OG, the big homie.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Boosie. And he actually already posted me and my bro Trill Will, Trill Will Israel on Instagram. That's the first artist that I broke. He got 1 million followers and a blue check mark. Shout out my brother Trillion.
For sure.
But that was kind of like all a part of Super Unit, Savage Life, touring with Webbie, going to sold out shows. Like we really did the arena in Lexington with, you know what I mean?
That's all.
Rod Wave.
That's and that's recent, because don't let him make you feel like it was like back in 2006.
Right.
Rod Wave is,
Webbie,
facts.
Yeah, Rod Wave is real.
In the now.
In the now.
Sure.
Like like right now. Shout out to.
So how long ago was that your first trip here when you was supposed to meet Boosie and all of that? How long
ago was that? Yeah, right. That's only part of the story. So yeah, so the first trip here, that was early last year. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but it was sometime last year.
So like your transition to Atlanta is just basically all fresh though. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Because the next time I came, we came here to do a show, right? Because I got another bro, PBE Pluto, and NPR Richie Rich. They got a show that they do this like a series, right? And so my brother Lucchese has a music video. I own RealLifeMusic, so I'm not just an artist. I actually own over 100 record labels. I built a company to be able to do for other people the same things that I do for myself. So as soon as I was starting to get established and get millions of streams and get to the position that I needed to be at, then the first thing that I did is I made sure that my brother was straight, is that my brother was getting his image together and making sure that he has some presentable branding to where he was Savage Life and Super Unit. And then, when I got my distribution deal with Universal Music Group, then I was able to stamp him too and say, okay, he's Universal. So it was like 100 different artists in the middle of the night get a call like, hey, congratulations, you got a deal to Universal that you never applied for. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I wanted to do it to help give them an opportunity, and I know they're not fitting to do the paperwork and contact 50/50 and Groove and Zarephath and talk to Angel. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that it takes to really have the leverage to get it. Right? This is crazy. I got the same deal that Master P got, but Master P is on record for saying he paid the lawyer $250,000 to introduce him to somebody that got him that deal. I didn't pay nobody to give me the deal, and I got that same split as far as the split, because people don't understand. People think it matters as far as like if it's a direct deal or if you're going through other people. But with companies like Universal, it's just a branding deal. It's up to you what you do with that brand. If you get stamped Universal and then you go sit at home and you don't do anything with it, it's never going to do anything for you. You might as well not be stamped Universal. That's why it's really hard to get in. That's why they got gatekeepers, because they want to make sure that if you get in there, you're going to work and you're going to make the brand look good. You know what I'm saying? So whereas if you give somebody who's active and who's already pushing and who's already out there in the streets and already doing shows and having street teams and meeting the right people and like they say, kissing babies and shaking hands, right? Then they're out there, they're making the Universal Music Group brand look good, to where now people are like, oh, okay, they Universal. That's the whole point. So with my company, we got 5 different branding deals. So we got the ability to use distributors and set up artists from the ground floor, right? They come in and we distribute them with a multi-million-dollar label. Nobody knows about this, like really low-key, one of the biggest underdog powerhouses in the game. And I'm just so grateful to GC for setting me up, and for Steve for working with me, and for my guy, Jason Billy at Beatroot, made in Memphis. Like, they handle all the CMG stuff, but nobody, you know what I mean? They're not an Interscope, so nobody knows like exactly who they are. But they're a massive company. They're owned by a company named Made in Memphis, which is a huge like enterprise, right? And then Made in Memphis owns Heavy Hitters Music Group. It's the #1 licensing company in America. They do like, I think they said 70% of Netflix licensing comes through Heavy Hitters Music Group, which is owned by Made in Memphis, which owns Beatroot, which is the company that I have a distribution deal with, not for myself, but for anybody under my umbrella. So the first thing I do is I stamp somebody and I sign them with Beatroot and distribute with Beatroot, which gets all types of things in play. Like, they get a verified audio map, right? So now they got their first verified page, and they can kind of keep pushing it. Then I go through Pesh, my guy Pesh, shout out Pesh, with live mixtapes, because I have a record deal with TSO, who's the owner of Live Mixtapes. And people don't even realize Live Mixtapes is a $4 million company.
Yeah, I'll say, Live Mixtapes still popping for sure. And I know people think, those platforms aren't what they used to be. but they're definitely still like a key part of what goes on, like DJs, music culture, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So don't sleep on the platform.
Well, it's DJs are the lifeblood of the music industry. DJs are who make records move. And if you don't have DJ cooperation and you don't have DJ participation, then you don't have motion, you don't have movement. So it's like people do sleep on it, but you know, live mixtapes is the only platform I've seen that pretty much self-generates traffic, right? You get one like and it gets 1,000 views because it really shows it to people when you get likes, because there's not a lot of likes. See, I've got DJs that have been waiting for a live mixtape account for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And they might not ever get it. It's a very exclusive platform.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that exclusivity kind of like keeps it from being so
washed up, like a old washed up.
No, even
saturated.
but it takes away from how much traffic it could have. They could always just push the best, or the people who they want to have the profiles. They could always just push that, just make it an algorithm, and just let people in.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just let people in.
Yeah, but
because you never know who will pop.
well, here's the thing, and people don't ever think about this. You don't want every person to have a platform. You don't want every single person to have a voice, to have leverage, to have power, to have influence. You know,
That's true.
a lot of what we're doing, a lot of the reason that the world is in the situation that it's currently in.
Like you said something about like the gatekeepers and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody not supposed to make it. Everybody not supposed to, you know what I'm saying, have that certain, like you said, voice, have that certain amount of influence. You know what I'm saying?
I will say, I feel like the
person.
people. I feel like the people will choose though too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like.
But are they choosing what's right for society or what's the most entertaining?
Yeah, for sure. But if we're talking about live mixtapes, then you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Niggas not gonna listen to a trash mix.
That's exactly it.
you
Right.
know?
So even when I upload stuff to live mixtapes, or like when I upload stuff to any of my distributors, we're probably the only underground label. I mean, we're really a major label, but as far as like being on the level that we're currently at, you know, building and bubbling up, that doesn't charge the artist, right? We don't charge them to submit music. We don't charge them for the deal. We don't charge for distribution with Universal Music Group. You know, and I know it's like, it's almost an industry standard, right? Like I talked to a company the first time about distribution through Universal. They wanted $4,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's against Universal's policy, right? Like literally it's against Universal's policy.
They not supposed to charge for
doing their job.
Right. Makes sense.
Right? Like if you got an A&R that really works for Universal, and they are caught to be accepting money for music submissions, they'll be fired on the spot, no questions asked. So that's why RealLifeMusic, we have the same policy. You know what I'm saying? If one of my A&Rs asks you for money to listen to music, let me know, I'll fire them.
Big boss.
I built the company. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of, see, the company got bigger than me. Because there's 3 hats, right? There's 3 distinct different operations going on, right? There's NoxBond, the artist,
Right.
5 million streams independently with no backing, no investors, just me, my intelligence got that plaque, right? And it's real, it's certified. There's a plaque, it's on my Instagram, NoxBond, check it out. So as an artist, I'm on World Star, and I've been to the BET Awards, and I did Scumbag Season, South by Southwest. Shout out Pow TV, shout out Birch.
Good
and
credits.
I've toured with Webbie, and you know what I'm saying? I've been on hundreds of podcasts and mixtapes and The Source Magazine and All Hip Hop. Shout out Rhea Davis. You know what I'm saying? And all of these major platforms. And I own the #1 DJ coalition on Google search results.
Okay.
Right? So I got hundreds of DJs all over the country, and they hit me up and they say, what you got for us to put on a mixtape? What you got for us to put on our radio station? So it's like an organic, automatic process. I bring an artist in, we get them onboarded, we transfer the whole catalog. Now they got a legacy, right? Because, you know, we had an artist die, right? His name's Cheapo. You know, rest in peace to Cheapo. Shout out to Jessica. Sure. You know, and it's just a perfect example, right? Because if Cheapo were on his own, he was in a place of financial hardship, right? He wasn't in a position to be able to live the rapper lifestyle, but he saved up as much as he could, and he went to the studio and he recorded music, and he made that his first priority. And he released music through all of his hardships, through everything that he had going on. Now, if he would have been on his own, and it would have been TuneCore, or it would have been through you know, one of the distribution services like DistroKid, right? As soon as a year rolled around and there was no money in that account, then the music comes down and your legacy's gone forever.
Yeah, that's sad.
And that's sad. So if nothing else, we're giving artists that legacy. We're giving them, you know what I'm saying, with no cost. We're giving them the free distribution to where their music doesn't come down after a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's done correctly. And nobody does paperwork. Nobody does their paperwork, right? So we handle it for them. We handle their publishing, their administration, their copyright. You know what I'm saying? We getting all their business in order, and that all came from just doing it for myself. Right. Right. Like I didn't know nothing I knew until I found it out. Like I signed up for Sound Exchange and tried to collect money, and then they notified me, you have to own the copyright to collect money. And then I went to the United States copyright website and signed up for a copyright, and they notified me, you have to have a transfer of ownership from every party involved if you want to own the copyright. So now when I hit up an artist and, you know, they don't have Sound Exchange, they don't have the copyright, they don't have a publishing company, then I'm like, okay, so where are you getting your beats? We getting our beats off YouTube. We getting our beats off BeatStars. You know what I'm saying? And so I turn around and build a production company. So now we have our own producers. We got 15, 20 different producers. We got producers with industry credits. But we own those beats. They're not on YouTube. You're not going to hear them nowhere. You're not going to hear unauthorized remixes. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, exclusivity matters. Yeah. And so we provide it all. We do everything from, you know, helping them understand the image and the branding aspect to being able to actually service your records, which is how you break records, right? It's how, like, shout out to DigiWax. DigiWax is the #1 record pool, period, like since 1998. I'm talking about every week they have people like Jim Jones, Coi Leray, DJ Drama, like at their peak, right? E40, Too Short. They come in at their peak, like right when they drop something. And so like CL, the owner of DigiWax, that's family, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to CL. But that means that because we have a partnership with them, that if you're partnered with RealLifeMusic, then you have that same access that only industry record labels have access to, right? Like one of my artists, his name is P Gutter, right? He's dropped 2 really big records. We dropped a record with a feature from Jadakiss. You know, shout out to Jadakiss. Been listening to you for a long time. So, you know, having a record that I own that has Jadakiss on it is like, it's mind blowing to me.
I feel that.
We got 1 million streams on that. You know what I mean? And then we just turn around and we dropped the one with P Gutter, DJ Drama, and Fat Joe. So, you know, there's real motion here. There's real people that are behind this. You know what I mean? It's deep.
That's hard.
For sure. Shout out to your movement, Real Life Music Group. You know what
for sure. You working.
Yeah.
You working.
Yeah, I've been working my whole life.
For sure.
Literally my whole life. Like it was like, see, I'm retired right now for the most part, right? And I'm young to be retired. So I sacrificed my whole life to be in a position where right now, okay, I can move about the country, right? Because you can't do this if you have a 9 to 5. Like, for real, you have to move around. You have to be active. You have to figure out. So what I always tell my artists is, like, the first thing you have to figure out is, how am I going to make money outside of the music industry? You know, artists come in and they say, I just want to make money. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just want to put a song out, and I know that if I get that exposure, I'm finna be famous overnight.
Right.
And it's my job to be like, yeah, you're delusional. Right? And then I got to break it down to them little by little, and I'm like, what is it? What's your goal? Right? And they be like, if I had 1 million views on World Star, then that'd be it. So I pull up my video with 1 million views on World Star, and I go, okay, well, no, that don't work. Okay, well, if I had a video on Say Cheese's platform, that works. So I pull up one of my artists with a video on Say Cheese's platform. Nah. If I was on this website, nah, we got that one. If I was on this website, nah, I got that one. If I had a budget, all right, cool. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you $50,000 right now, and you couldn't spend it on recording, making music videos, or features, or touring, or doing any of that, you have to spend it on promotion and marketing. How are you going to spend it? 100% out of 100% artists have froze up like a deer in headlights with that question.
All right.
I say, you tripping. I can give you $50,000 right now. All you got to do is tell me how you're going to spend it. Exactly how you're going to spend it. I would spend it on marketing.
Right. Man, I asked somebody the other day, like, you know, what kind of marketing do you do? I gotta pay him to talk about it. Like, why wouldn't you just say, like, social media, YouTube promotion, playlisting? You, like, you know what I'm saying? Just give me a little vague something.
Because, well, okay, so, man, I'm giving y'all some exclusives right here. I ain't never really let nobody know this shit, but, like, there's 2 music industries, all right? So, in one music industry, the record labels hire promoters and DJs to break artists simultaneously. They hire all of them at one time, and it causes the artists to break on a nationwide level. And there's so many fucking moving pieces involved. And then there's a whole other industry because these labels only hire people every once in a while, right? So when they're not hiring these people, these same people got to eat, and they got to pay their rent. And a lot of them driving Maseratis and, you know what I mean, like nice cars, and they live in nice houses, so their rent is in the thousands, right? And so they got to generate that same type of money as when Interscope comes along and gives them $20,000 and says, I need you to break this artist. So what they do is they each sell the image that they can do that by themselves because they've done it as a part of breaking an artist. And that's how they pay their bills, is basically providing a service that doesn't do anything for the artist. And that's why I built my company, because none of the DJ coalitions or the record labels are built by artists with the thought of helping artists, of like, you know, I felt some type of way. I was mad. I spent $300,000 and didn't see no return. Right? And then at the end of the day, like, when I wanted money, I had to build a freight company. Like, it ain't have nothing to do with the music industry. That's what's got me in this and this and this, right? So at the end of the day, it's like, this is $100, this is $500, this is $500, this is $1,000, this is $1,000. And it's all payola anyway. So it's like a trap, and it's like quicksand. And they give you this image. They're like, okay, listen, it's all going to add up one day. All of these little tiny blogs is going to build up, and it's going to have you bubbling up, and it's going to, you know, cause traction. But unless you can get them all moving simultaneously, you just spinning in place.
That's slick up to the planning and the rollout.
You gotta have, for one, you gotta have your paperwork, and nobody has their paperwork, right? Like Sound Exchange has an inner circle, and they send out an email and they notify people. So Sound Exchange reached out and they said that at the end of the quarter in 2022, there were hundreds of thousands of songs that were released on like Spotify, right? There were only 4,400 songs that were done correctly with the paperwork to where they would get paid. All the other ones they're just doing it for a hobby. They're not getting paid. They don't have their paperwork right. They don't own the copyright, which is the first step. You have to own the copyright. That's the first step.
It's
right?
Because it's a music business, right?
The definition of a record label, at least in my opinion, is a company that exploits music for profit, right? And exploits the copyright of music for profit. So in order to make money off of intellectual property, you have to own it.
Right. Like on some NFT shit.
On some NFT shit, right? Like that's why artists they're trying to get around the rules of intellectual property. But see, with America, intellectual property is like strict. They are very, very strict on taking the creator or the owner's side. And it's whoever, right? So if there's an owner, it outweighs the creator. I'm gonna break it down for you. If 5 people make a song, right, and there's no paperwork involved, all 5 people have the same exact rights to that song, and no party can block the song from coming out. All 5 people own it, have rights to distribution, and can do anything they want with the song. Okay? If there's paperwork involved, the paperwork overwrites whatever that agreement is.
Yeah.
So if your paperwork is correct, then you can have the transfer of ownership contracts, which allow you to own the copyright. So it's an actual business that nobody knows anything about. You know what I mean?
Not worried about it. They just want to upload it and get famous, like you said.
And they have a massive sense of entitlement of it's owed to me. Of I'm the best artist in the world. You don't know I'm different, right? Like it's me. I'm different. Everybody else has said that, but me, I'm different.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, so why do you have 50,000 plays on Spotify, but the last time you posted on Instagram, it got 2 likes?
Or why are your streams coming from one platform?
They're not jumping platforms because they're not connecting with the artist, right? So it's like, see, I'm from a different generation. My generation, it was never about streams. Like streams was basically the way that the record labels came in and muscled independent artists out of selling music, because we used to compete with them to the point that they had to buy us out. Right, that's the music industry used to work like that. Like it was all based on actual like sound scan numbers, where people bought your CD and they had to pay for it, and it was $10 to $15, and then those numbers were what made the chart, and there was no way to fake it other than buying your own CDs, which it was like, okay, shit, if you want to spend $500,000 on buying your own CDs, who are we to stop you? And there was a lot of that going on. But other than that, there was really no way for the labels to stop anybody from making money. Like me as an independent artist back in 2008, I just took CDs that I got from Walgreens, printed them up, and I had a light scribe printer, so they were printed, right? And then I did the same thing. I printed up my own CD cases. You could go to Walgreens, get the whole jewel cases, and you had like the same CD display, you know. And then we go out with street teams, you know, 5 people deep, and we go to Walmart and we go to convenience stores, and we sit there and we sell CDs for $5 or $10 if you didn't have it. If you had $2 and you seemed like you was a cool person, like, all right. Or, you know, we might slide you one for free if we thought you was somebody that was important, you know, something like that. I sold 10,000 CDs.
Yeah, that's hard.
Right? Like hand to hand. Like I ain't have a job for 3 years just based off of we waking up going, all right, let's sell some CDs. You know what I'm saying? Let's sell some CDs. We cooling, we good. Let's go to a party. What we doing over there? Selling CDs. You know what I mean? So and it got to a point where if you had a good street team and your shit was together, you could do numbers quick. Right? Like you could
expand,
move units.
Yeah, for sure.
See, you got to remember that going gold was 500,000 sold. Now it's like 83 million streams.
Right.
Right. So what's the difference between 500,000 people going into a store because they like and support you and spending money, right? And spending $15, right? And millions of people listening to you, but they ain't got to pay it.
Yeah, they definitely just snatch that money straight up from all the artists in the streets, for sure, with the technology and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
It was strong on. You know what I'm saying? It was.
Yeah.
And what happened, you know what I mean, is basically they started trading personnel up at the top. So the people from the label started working at Spotify and YouTube, and then the people from YouTube and Spotify started working at the label.
Yeah, for sure.
And then but now it's like a revolving door where you can go in and work at Spotify and then go up to YouTube and then go from YouTube to Interscope and from Interscope to Alamo and then back over to 300 ENT until you start your own label and you're using all of their resources within it, but it's really still under the same umbrella, right? Like it's all the same. So they basically came up with a system
like that,
right? Where it's like, just make everybody give away their music for free.
Yeah.
And the artists are, why the fuck would we give away our music for free? I'm not going. Right? Like I'm not going. I'm not giving away my music for free. Y'all can have that. And then they just took over. It was like there was so many billions of dollars in the advertising that it was like, it's like artists don't even realize right now they being brainwashed to want to be independent. They don't even realize. They don't put two and two together and say, oh, okay, United Masters exists now, right? Which is your independent source, right? Which allows them to get 25% ownership without doing anything but distributing your shit on TuneCore, basically, so that you don't have to pay the $20 a month. And now since United Masters comes, they're owned by the conglomerate. So they got a whole message to artists, right? Be independent, keep your masters, keep this, keep that, and it's being drilled from all angles, right? Keep your. So what are you seeing with the artists though? They struggling. They're standing on it, right? They're standing on it. It's an agenda in play. They listening to the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it and keep it all the way to the grave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They keep 100% of zero.
Yeah.
So,
right, 100% of zero.
Right.
So sometimes it's better to partner with somebody, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of failure to get to that point. You know, it takes getting 1 million views on World Star and then still having a job.
Yeah, I feel that.
Right? Being like, what the fuck just happened? I thought I was supposed to be famous.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like imagine, right? I go to the BET Awards, right? I heard, who was it? Somebody went to the BET Awards and became famous, right? Instantly, overnight. And like, so I tried that strategy. I went to the BET Awards. I met some celebrities. I met some people. Then I went back home.
Yeah, for sure.
Thought South by Southwest was it for sure, right? Because Scumbag Season, Birch, Pow TV, everybody who's anybody has been across that stage. It is like a come up type of thing, right? And then I get online and I do all of this promotion, like to the point that I was the #1 artist and they gave me a headline slot. They don't do that. They charge a lot of money for a headline slot, right? Like, so I got my headline slot based off of my relationship with Birch and with Pow TV and with my hustle. You know what I'm saying? Then I went there and I showed out and I went back home.
Yeah. I feel you, but like you said, sometimes it takes doing all of that, you know, learning the whole process. Now going through all that, you have your relationships, you have your company, helping other artists, you know, and sometimes that's what it's about.
You got to capitalize.
The journey
right?
is the journey, you know. You don't know the destination. You feel me? But you got to ride and make the best of it, and you've been making the best of it, and you know,
Making
here
it look
you
good.
are. Yeah, facts.
I just had to. Sometimes you can't fight things because they're too big to fight, right? So instead, I mean, this is as close as I've come to fighting it, like just really putting everything out there. You know what I'm saying? But I just try to add counterbalance, right? So I do point out what I see because I call it as I see it. Real, recognize real. Always have, always will. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing that I could do is I could provide balance. I could provide a company that does move with integrity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For sure.
Shout
At the end of the
out.
day,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely hear the pride that you take in, you know what I'm saying, in your work and the what you offer to the artists, and you know what I mean. You definitely sound like you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you obviously know what the hell you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Been
there, done that, around the loops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like I was saying, it just sounds like the pride that you have in what you offer to the artists and how you could take them to the next level and how you want to educate them as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the saying that you could take the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So as long as you're there and you're trying to educate them, it's not much more you could do. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, I got this money right here that I can give you, but what you gonna do with this money? What are you gonna do as far as marketing and, you know what I'm saying?
Promotion.
No merchandise, no, you know what I'm saying? Like certain steps that you still got to take that you can make more money off of the money that you getting. You know what I'm saying?
But if you take out the merchandise, again, this is really it's like a trick question, right? Because there's no, you have to spend it on promotion and on advertising. You understand what I'm saying? It's a whole different ball game. That's because now you're in the same mind state as Coca-Cola and McDonald's, not as the local rapper from next door.
Right.
You know, advertising is $1 trillion industry.
Yeah. It's a creative industry.
Yeah.
I know. Don't sleep on the process it takes to have these advertisements, these stories in 10 seconds, and you know what I'm saying? Like, like you said, $1 trillion industry.
It's $1 trillion industry. And it's really like, you can have all the knowledge and all the information in the world, but if you don't apply it and you don't use it, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have good energy, then none of it matters. Like, your energy overrides everything,
right?
Your talent, you know who
Yeah,
you know,
for
how much money you have, and that's really the key to why most people don't succeed, is because they're shitty people.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a fact.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And then that goes back to the beginning of our conversation when it's like everybody not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's not welcome to the table. You know what I'm saying? To circle back the conversation, you know what I mean? To make it make sense. Like, that's why everybody not supposed to be able to have that influence on people, because they're really shitty people and we don't need that virus going around.
Yeah.
We just finished beating Corona.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We already AC.
We AC now.
After Corona. Right.
AC. So I mean, I agree 100%, and I feel like, picture any movie that you want that has a villain that's an evil bad guy. Okay. Now, imagine that when you meet this person, they're that person, but you don't know that. You finna give them a platform. Whatever fucked up thoughts that they have, whatever they consider to be right and wrong, no matter how twisted it is, if you feel like everybody should be able to play, right, participation trophies, then you got to understand that you are giving a platform to some people who are corrupt, who don't deserve a platform, and not everybody is worthy.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real spiel.
You can't sit with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On Fridays, we wear pink.
Nah.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, whatever.
Every day it's February, right?
For sure,
I'm wearing red and pink every day. Shout out Ebony.
All right, so let everybody know where to find you at, where to find your business, where to find your DJ Coalition, all of that.
You can look me up personally on Instagram at NoxBond. That's NOX Bond, like James Bond, but way cooler. And then the Instagram for the record label is RealLifeMusic LLC. The Instagram for the DJ Coalition is Next Level DJ Coalition. And then the website's RealLifeMusicLLC.com and NextLevelDJCoalition.com. And make sure you follow Real Life Lucchese, Trilla Israel, Blackout, Wide Eyes. I mean, we got artists on artists, so I'm just trying to shout out some people I haven't shouted out before. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bash Brothers. Just we have a lot of artists. Tune in to RealLifeMusicLLC.com. Shout out all of our partners: Stop Beefing Radio, Hype Magazine. You know what I mean? All of the other separate DJ coalitions, DJ Johnny O, Big Hef, Nerve DJs, Big X, Coalition DJs, you know what I mean? Like all of our family across the globe, you know, Real Life and No Life, Next Level to the Dirt Set.
Yeah,
let's
get
it.
And most importantly, shout out America's Realest.
Shouts out Rap Juggernaut, man.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out
saying?
Kingpin. Much
me?
love, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure,
Shout
for
out
sure.
Level G.
Oh man,
shout out
you know,
G
G guy, man, you know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know.
Heavy drip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, a little sign, a little
Facts.
lightweight, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out Live Hip Hop Daily.
Live Hip Hop
Yeah,
Daily,
for sure.
Live Hip Hop
Yeah.
Daily Jams.
Yeah, for sure.
The Boss Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
Lit,
man.
lit.
America's
What was
Realest
it, Angel?
Podcast.
Yeah.
We out.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
Lit.
sure.